you still have a lot of talent, specifically Carlos Correa and Dansby Swanson, both 28. Carlos Correa, 155 career homers. So both of these guys are winners, and both are free agents. What's the best fit for these respective players, Bo?
I think when I start to think about Carlos Correa, I see him landing in Baltimore. And I know some people are going to look and they're going to say, well, the Baltimore Orioles are not ready. But as an organization that when you go through a rebuild, you get to the point where, and they may be a year ahead because they were plus 31 this year. They came out of nowhere. But when you look at all the pieces that are in play in Baltimore, you have Elias, who is the general manager, who was the scouting director of the Houston Astros when Carlos Correa was drafted. Sig Ladon, who was the assistant GM, was the director of decision scientists. And the Baltimore Orioles, going into the 2023 season, they will not have any dollars committed beyond the 2023 season. So they can take on this contract, build around Carlos Correa and that young core that they already have.
Wow. Well, I did not think of the Orioles and Carlos Correa. What do you think of that, and where might Dansby Swanson fit for you?
To me, a guy like Dansby Swanson he could fit a lot of roles, but two teams jump out to me. The Yankees, who look like they need a shortstop. I get it. They just spent a lot of money on Aaron Judge. But Connor Calefa, the bat didn't really play all that well. And finally, they had enough in the postseason, and they made a change once the playoffs started. I think Swanson either in a Cub uniform or a New York Yankees uniform. A Cub team right now, they could move Nico Horner from shortstop to second base. They want to spend the money, that being the Cubs. They're going out there trying to make some improvements. They brought in Cody Bellinger, took a flyer on Bellinger, and I think a guy like Dansby Swanson, winning player, fits a lot of places, but I'd like to see him with the Cubs.
Yeah, both of those guys, Bo, the intangibles off the charts for both Correa and Dansby Swanson. They are both winners. They're both excellent players. What about a fit for Dansby Swanson? You mentioned Baltimore as a possible destination for Correa. What about Swanson?
When I think about Dansby Swanson, the team that jumps out to me is the Cardinals. I think when you start to look at Dansby Swanson is coming from a culture with the Atlanta Braves where he is searching for another championship. When you talk about a winner, a guy who shows up each and every day with the desire to beat the other team, Dansby Swanson is a player that plays every day. He plays hard. And when you look at the Cardinals and you look at him playing shortstop in that lineup, I think it will be a great fit. Even when you look at Dansby Swanson and Correa, one of the things that you look at Correa is the fact that he's missed a lot of games over the course of the years. And Dansby Swanson is a guy that when you look at these numbers in 2021, 160 games. Last year, played every game last season.
Yeah. Well, Carlos Correa last year missed a handful of games, double-digit games with a middle finger contusion, and then he got COVID. The year before, his final year with the Astros, he was basically injury-free, did have COVID, and then in the shortened pandemic season of 2020, posted nearly every game that season. So I feel like maybe the injury bug, which he has been saddled with, maybe that's starting to wear off a little bit.
I do, and that's why I still think for Correa, I would like to see him stay with the Twins. I just think that division is very winnable. I know they were disappointed second half of the year. Things couldn't have gone more wrong, bad timing, bad luck, whatever, with their rotation and their bullpen. The Twins will be a better team in 2023.
Maybe I shouldn't be surprised because they ultimately were not able and did not bring Freddie Freeman back. But I'm surprised that the Braves seemingly are willing to let a guy like that and a player like that walk out of their clubhouse.
Well, I think when you're the Braves, they look at trying to basically spread the pie around, and they are basically benefiting from their own success, which is developing your own players. And they have Grissom ready to slot in to shortstop. He's making, the minimum, and they don't have to pay him. And now it allowed them to use that money to go out in other areas of their ball club.
And they locked up two guys, their center fielder and Spencer Strider. They locked both of those two guys up long term. So there's some long-term commitment there. Ronald Acuna Jr., there's a long-term commitment there too. So something has to give.
Yeah, Ozzie Albies also has a long deal with the Atlanta Braves.